Hello, this is Matthew Hagum again at Discover Bookkeeping, and I'm here with Darin Webb, and today we're going to talk about the class a little bit. We've been learning about payroll, and today was the payroll test. So I want to break that down a little bit. I have some questions for you, Mr. Webb, but then I also want to go into a few other things. Specifically, we're surveying our students right now about what they like best about the Bookkeeping Center, so stay tuned for that in the near future. And then give you a little bit of a reminder and an update on the Aruba raffle. So let's start with payroll. So payroll is a challenging process. This has been my experience. There's a lot of detail. I feel like there's a lot of details you have to keep in mind in order to successfully record the transactions and then actually produce the journal entry for any given payroll. So my question for you, Darin, is what do you find most challenging about payroll?
Okay, let's set the premise here. He's talking about manual payroll, where he's doing everything by hand.
Yep.
He has to record it, do all the transactions. It's not an outside payroll company doing it for you with a computer. It's
Doing it by hand.
Doing it by hand.
Yeah.
So the most challenging is just to remember that all the details. I mean, we're talking there's federal, there's state, there's city, depends where you live in the country, and then there's FICA, and there's employer FICA, there's employee FICA. So it's just remembering all those small
Well,
details.
and then also I'm still trying to understand this, but there's also a distinction between what the employer pays as an expense and then what the employee pays. Correct? Is there?
Well, you have to remember that if somebody says, I'm making $100 a week, okay? Out of that $100, the federal government takes a percentage, the state takes a percentage, Social Security, which is FICA, Social Security, Medicare, takes a percentage. The employer has to also match that Social Security. So even though you tell somebody you make $100 a week, for the employer, it costs more than $100 a week to have you as an employee, because we also have to pay FICA.
Yeah.
That make sense?
That does make sense.
Okay.
Yes. Well, and then also there's just, we're in New York State, which has, certain kind of tax brackets and percentages that you have to be aware of, but those differ state to state.
Yes.
And so that would affect your kind of processing of payroll.
It would. But most likely by doing it by hand, you would have a chart that you would know what percentage to take. You're not going to have to remember the percentages off the top of your head. Even though a lot of people do,
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay, so that said, I want to ask you, what is your #1 tip for students who are studying payroll in Discover Bookkeeping?
Okay, this may sound basic, but just remember the difference between gross payroll and net payroll. When you get a paycheck, you just look at the net. You're looking, this is what I have. I have X amount of dollars.
I do that.
You need to look and realize, okay, I'm actually getting A, which is the gross amount. B, C, D, E, and F comes out for my net of G. So you just got to remember the difference between gross and net, because you're recording the gross. That's an expense to the company. The gross amount is the expense.
Yeah. Well, and it's also useful because, like you pointed out to me earlier today, if you as an employee know how payroll works, then you can, and are looking at the gross amount versus the net amount, then you can start to understand where the errors might fall as you're looking at your paycheck every two weeks or however often you get it.
Because errors do happen.
They do. Computers are computers, people are people.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
So that said, let's switch back to this idea of what do you like best about the Bookkeeping Center. So I mentioned this earlier. We're doing a video for the end of year, asking all of our students, and we've gotten some amazing responses. Everything from they, love the staff, us, we're really supportive, all the way to they're very excited about the possibility of having a new career in bookkeeping, and they really feel like our program is helping them to do that. So, Darin, from your perspective, what do you like best about the Bookkeeping Center?
Well, I'm a little partial because I did help found
Yes.
the
You're a founder.
organization. I personally think it's so important to understand the manual part of it all, because if you cannot explain what the computer software is doing, it's like a deer caught in headlights. So I think we're so unique in the fact that we do everything by hand first. You learn
how to do payroll by hand.
Right, exactly. And that's the uniqueness of it, because if you can do it by hand, then you can explain to anybody and everybody that asks you a question about accounting, bookkeeping. You will sound like you're the superstar. The superstar.
And in fact, one of our past graduates was titled the Queen of Bookkeeping. The Queen of Bookkeeping, which is probably a rare title and probably the only person.
People might challenge that also.
Well, that's fine. Bring it on.
I know some queens of bookkeeping. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Well, now, so we're going to close this video. I just want to let you know that our Aruba raffle is doing very well. We've almost sold 200 tickets. So it's very great for us, and I want to encourage you to buy tickets, not because the chances are good or whatever, mostly, or really,
the number one
reason is because it helps. It's money that comes to the Bookkeeping Center to help us continue our services to the community. So that said, buy your Aruba raffle tickets at our website, www.tbkc.org, and continue to support the Bookkeeping Center. I would also ask you to share this video and spread the word and help us build our audiences online as we approach the end of year. Do you have anything else to say?
No, thank you for everything, and go to the website, www.tbkc.org.
All right, bye.
Bye.